Attention everyone, welcome to orientation, and for those who might be a little confused, you're dead, and you might now come back as shambling corpses. If you're wondering about your souls, they have been divorced from your bodies and are found somewhere else. Don't ask me where they are, for I don't know, nor do I care. All I care about is getting your plus brains up and running so that you can snack down upon the living and increase the number of the dead. So with that said, let's get going. Greetings and welcome to Checkpoint Gaming. For this episode, we will be going over how to play the game Zombie Dice, which is a press your luck game and was created by Steve Jackson Games. It is a dice game where the players take on the role of a zombie, competing against other players to score a set number of points before anyone else. In order to play the game, you'll need at least 2 players, the 13 game dice, a cup to hold them, and means to keep score. In order to determine who will go first of any game, it will be the player who won the last game or the one who can say brains with the most feeling. On your turn, shake the cup, take 3 dice found within it without looking, and then roll them. With each dice, it represents 1 human victim. The dice are also divided into 3 colors, green, yellow, and red. With green, it is the easiest and can be thought of as the elderly, infirm, or otherwise weak and unable to properly fight back against a zombie. With yellow, it is medium toughness and represents the average human being. With red, it is the toughest and can be seen as military personnel, survivalists, or other individuals who can properly handle themselves in a zombie apocalypse. Found in each dice, there are 3 symbols, brain, shotgun, and footprints. With the brain symbol, it represents the victim's brains that you've eaten, and you'll set them off to one side when you roll it. The shotgun symbol represents the victim fighting back, and you'll set them off to one side opposite the brains when you roll it. With the footprint symbol, it represents the victim managing to escape. When this is rolled, you'll keep it in front of you, and if you choose to roll again, you'll re-roll these dice along with enough new dice to bring the total back up to 3. With the presence of these symbols upon the dice, they will vary in number except for the footprints, which will always remain the same at 2. With the green dice, they contain only 1 shotgun symbol and 3 brain symbols. With the yellow dice, it possesses 2 of each symbol. With the red dice, they possess only 1 brain symbol and 3 shotgun symbols. If the player obtains 3 shotguns on their turn, then their turn is over. Otherwise, the player can choose to end their turn and score the points that they obtained or continue rolling dice. If the player decides to end their turn, then they will score 1 point for every brain that they have, followed by putting all the dice back into the cup. From there, it's the next player's turn. If the player chooses to continue rolling, then keep all the footprint dice on the table, and unless all 3 of the dice are footprints, take enough random new dice from the cup in order to bring dice count back to 3. From there, roll again. When rolling, the player will always roll 3 dice at a time. After taking new dice, the player cannot decide to stop. They will have to roll and set inside any brains and shotguns as described earlier. But if the player obtains 3 shotguns, then the player's turn is over and will score nothing. Otherwise, they can decide to stop and score or to take another roll. If you don't have 3 dice left in the cup during your turn, then make note of how many brains the player has and then put them all into the cup except for the shotguns. With the shotguns, keep them in front of the player. From there, continue the turn process. With play, the game will continue until a player has reached 13 brains. Once this occurs, it finishes the round. But we feel that once the player has scored 13 brains, each of the other players should have at least 1 last chance to try and catch up. So if you want, we recommend that each player be given the chance to try and catch up to the player who has scored 13 brains. Whoever has the most brains at the end of this round is the winner. But if there's a tie, then the players with the highest time scores will play a tiebreaker round. With that taken care of, we can look at the expansions of the game. First, we have the double feature, which introduces 3 new dice to the game, 2 Hollywood Heroes dice, and 1 Santa Claus dice. This is to add some new twists to the game of Undead Rampage. With the Hollywood Heroes dice, it consists of the Hunk and the Hottie dice. With the Hunk dice, it is the black die with white icons that consists of 2 feet, 2 shotguns, 1 double shotgun, and 1 double brains. With the Hottie die, it consists of a black die with pink icons that have 3 feet, 2 shotguns, and 1 brain. When you want to add these dice into the game, replace a yellow die for each double feature die added. When adding these dice to the game, you typically add both of them, thus removing 2 yellow dice. However, we feel like you should have the option to add just 1 die instead of both. So if you're adding just one of these dice, then remove just 1 yellow dot. The symbols found upon the 2 heroes dice, as mentioned earlier, consist of brain, double brain, shotgun, double shotgun, and footprints. With brains, shotgun, and footprints, they remain the same as touched upon earlier. But with double brain, it is worth 2 points, so this result is basically worth 2 points instead of 1. And with double shotgun, it is equivalent to a double barrel shotgun blast, causing the player to take double damage. With the heroes, they can rescue each other from the zombie. If the Hunk rolls a shotgun and the Hottie is found in the player's brain pile or came up as a brain on the same roll, then the Hottie will be rescued and will go back into the cup. With the Hottie, she can rescue the Hunk in the same way. With the Santa Claus die, it consists of the Santa die, and it is a red die with white icons that have 1 brain, 1 shotgun, 1 footprint, and 3 special icons. When you want to add this die into the game, place the green die with the Santa die. When the symbols found upon the Santa die, it consists of brain, shotgun, footprints, double brain, energy drink, and helmet. With brains, double brains, shotgun, and footprints, they remain the same as touched upon earlier. But with the energy drink, the player is now able to move faster. What you do is keep this die in front of you, and for the rest of the player's turn, start with a new roll. All green feet the player rolls will automatically be turned into brains. And with helmet, the player is now tough. What you do is keep this die in front of you, and the player is able to take 4 shotguns instead of 3 to kill the player. If you add the Santa die to the game, and all 13 dice have been used in the turn, do not put Santa back into the cup, no matter what he is showing, until the start of the next player's turn. With the direct-to-video sequel, take out 2 yellow dice and 1 green die, and add both Hollywood heroes and the Santa Claus dice into the cup. The heroes are still able to rescue each other. In addition to this, they're able to rescue Santa, and Santa is able to rescue them. Just remember that the double brain icon on the Santa die does not represent Santa himself. It's just a Christmas present, so it cannot be affected if either hero rolls a shotgun. Second, we have the school bus, which introduces a big yellow school bus die and includes 10 brain counters and 4 shotgun counters. These counters are used to keep track of what happened upon the school bus. Also, do not place the school bus die into the cup. With rolling the school bus die, you roll it only if the player wishes to do so. The player will always start their turn by rolling 3 of the regular dice. After the first roll, the player may choose to roll the school bus die at any time. The player does this by saying, "I'm trying to catch the bus," or something equally witty. From there, the player will roll the school bus die instead of rolling one of the regular dice. The player will continue to roll the school bus die in addition to 2 regular dice, so the player will still be rolling 3 dice each turn. With the school bus die results, they consist of brain and shotgun, stop sign, yield sign, dead end sign, and run over. With brains and shotgun, they remain the same as touched upon earlier. With the brain and shotgun, it is worth both a brain and a shotgun. With a stop sign, the school bus will come to a stop and the player's turn will automatically come to an end. If the player has 3 shotguns, then the player will score nothing. Otherwise, the player will score the brains they have acquired. With the yield sign, it causes all shotguns, including double shotguns, on this roll to be turned into footprints. For the dead end sign, it causes all footprints on this roll to become brains. Finally, we have run over, which causes the player to literally be thrown under the bus. As a result of this, it causes the player to lose 1 of their brains that they claimed in this round, unless the player didn't score any this round. The player will either lose 1 brain counter or drop the brain die of the player's choice back into the cup. If the only brain die that a player has is a double, then they'll drop said die into the cup and take a single brain counter. The player may choose to end their turn now or keep going with the 6-sided dice. However, the player cannot roll the school bus die anymore for this given turn. Whenever a player rolls the school bus die, they'll also roll 2 regular dice. While on the school bus, any footprints that are rolled represent people running away by jumping off the bus. Whenever a player rolls footprints, they'll have 2 choices. First, the player will jump after them with the school bus die and set aside. The player cannot roll it anymore for the rest of this turn. The player can re-roll plus enough new dice to roll a total of 3 dice. Second, the player will stay on the school bus with the footprints being discarded, thus allowing the target to escape. Set them off to one side until the cup is refilled. From there, draw 2 new dice and go with the school bus die and roll again. If the player is on the school bus, they can always get off of it in order to chase a runner. With a stop sign, they will always end their turn. With a run over symbol, it means that the player has fallen under the bus. Said player will lose a brain and they cannot get back onto the bus for the rest of the turn. They can choose to end their turn after any school bus roll. If the players choose to use more than 1 zombie dice expansion, then apply all the special effects of the dice in order of the expansions. So the double feature results will come before the school bus results. With that said, that is what you need to know in order to play zombie dice. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes we upload, go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.